Anti-aging ingredients you should never mix or layer. So that is the topic we are talking about today. So if you haven't been to our channel, we've been doing a whole series on anti-aging, and if you have oily skin or acne, we also have a playlist on that, as well as how to take care of your eyelash extensions. So today we're going to talk about anti-aging ingredients that you should never mix. So if you haven't watched any of my last videos, I'm always talking about the pH of products. And so we're going to talk about today not only the anti-aging ingredients that you should never mix, but also why you should not mix them. So stay tuned for that, and if you stay on till later part of the video, I will actually be giving you a bonus. So stay with us, because we are going to include a link that you guys can click on to receive the ingredients list of what you should never combine on your skin. So I had mentioned before that I'm always talking about pH. So when a cosmetic chemist or a team of cosmetic chemists get together to create a product for a specific skincare line, in an ideal world, they make it so that it is pH compatible for the next product in their same skincare line. However, the reality of our world is that you will buy a cleanser from one company, and then you'll buy a cream from another company, and so you're mix and matching. So a lot of times when I'm doing a skincare consultation, I will ask the person, so how are all these different products working for you? And a lot of times the client will say, well, I don't really see a whole lot of difference, to tell you the truth. And a lot of times it could be because they're using products that neutralize the effects of the ingredients and the products. And so what we do here is we understand that not everybody can use one single skincare line. So I try to get pH compatible products, so even though they may not be able to use all the same things in the same skincare line, that they can use different products, but still their pH works with every single product. Because when you mix these ingredients together, the worst that can happen is you'll have dry, irritated, even have breakouts, inflamed skin, or at best neutralize the efficacy of the products and you don't see a whole lot of difference. And when you start talking about the more expensive serums and eye creams, especially for anti-aging or for acne, you're purchasing them for the quality of the ingredients and then the efficacy of the product. So when you're not seeing any differences in your skin, you're kind of wondering, okay, what is going on? So you want to make sure that the pH is correct. Okay, but before we get into the good and bad ingredients and what you should mix and not mix, I would love it if you could hit the subscribe button in the lower left hand corner, as well as hit the notification bell, and of course give us a thumbs up so you can help support the channel, so that I know that these are topics that you guys are wanting. So please make sure that you give us a thumbs up. Okay, so here we go. We're going to jump right into the ingredients of what to use and what not to use. So here are a few good combos that you can use on your skin. So the first one is retinol and glycerin, okay? Or if you're using Retin A, you can do Retin A and glycerin. And the reason why is because retinol is a very common anti-aging ingredient. And what it does is it speeds up the skin cell turnover rate. So what happens when you start using that, it can dry out the skin. So glycerin, typically it's a vegetable-based humectant, and it draws moisture from the environment and draws it to your skin and binds it to your skin. So when one is dehydrating your skin, the other one is actually increasing your skin's ability to hold in the moisture. And the next one is retinol and hyaluronic acid. So it's kind of the same thing. Retinol, again, like I explained before, it actually can dehydrate the skin because it's speeding up the skin cell turnover rate, increasing that desquamation rate. And hyaluronic acid, now hyaluronic acid typically is gel-based, and so that is a humectant as well, and it can hold up to 1,000 times its weight in water. And that is great for people who tend to break out easier, because it's not occlusive and it is water-based, and we make it in our own body. So no one can be allergic to hyaluronic acid, or nobody can break out with hyaluronic acid. The next one is vitamin C and vitamin E. Those work great together. So vitamin C is usually the more common, the more well-known one. But the reason why they work synergistically together is because when the vitamin C antioxidant neutralizes free radicals, it needs to regenerate itself again to keep fighting that free radical. And that's when that vitamin E steps in. It helps re-energize that vitamin C to keep working. Now the next one is well known with pretty savvy skincare enthusiasts, and this is vitamin C and ferulic acid. And if you can get vitamin C, vitamin E with ferulic acid, it is even better. Now, ferulic acid is actually a plant-based antioxidant, and it's usually derived from rice bran oil. And what ferulic acid does is, one, it stabilizes both the vitamin C and vitamin E, because we all know that vitamin C is highly oxidative. It breaks down very quickly when exposed to air, heat, and or light. So not only does it stabilize it, but it actually doubles the photo-aging protection of sunscreens. And so that's why it is a great combination. And this is also another reason why rice powders work better than your typical translucent powders, and we will be doing another video on that explaining why. Okay, so here is the list for ingredients that you should never mix. So the first one is vitamin C and AHA. So if you don't know what AHAs are, they stand for alpha hydroxy acids, and the most common well-known one is glycolic acid. Okay, so they don't want you to mix the two together because both of them can irritate the skin together and make them ineffective. And for more sensitive types, you're looking at an acid and an acid together in the molecule, and that can be irritating to some skin types. So the other one is vitamin C and retinol. And again, for the same reason, both of these can be irritants both together on the skin. So because retinol actually increases the skin cell turnover rate, thins the skin, your skin may not be able to tolerate the vitamin C because the lipid barrier may be compromised. Okay, so the next one is retinol, AHAs, and benzoyl peroxide. So if you're trying to fight aging, premature fine lines and wrinkles, and acne, and you're trying to target as many issues as possible, please don't do this. So just don't layer this on top of each other, because your skin can not only get really dry with benzoyl peroxide and the retinol, but now you're causing an irritation possibly with the AHA. So what you can do is you can use them on the same day, just don't layer it on top of each other. So for example, let's say you use your benzoyl peroxide during the morning time, and then you use your retinol or your AHA in the evening. But usually if you're starting to combine these three, a lot of my clients will start to see a lot of irritation, a lot of drying, a lot of inflamed skin. Okay, another one is AHAs. There's that AHAs again, and niacinamide. And niacinamide is otherwise known as vitamin B3. It's also an antioxidant. Now, because of the low pH from the AHAs, this can actually cause the niacinamide to turn into nicotinic acid, and so we don't want that to happen. So you want to avoid these two together. So if this is another instance where you are using two different serums and you're laying it on top of each other, you can use the two different serums, but use one during the day and one during the evening. So option 2 is you can also, if you're using a toner that balances out pH and actually increases the efficacy of anti-aging ingredients, another thing that you can do is you can first put the first serum directly onto dry skin. Wait about 10 minutes or so. So usually I would probably do vitamin C first because it's more oxidative. So put that on directly on your skin, wait about 10 minutes. Feel your skin. If your skin is nice and smooth, then you can do the toner, and then when your face is completely saturated, you can apply the other serum on there, and then wait, and then put on your night cream. And again, if you're doing a night cream, make sure it's not glycolic acid that has any AHAs in them. So if you're confused about what toner to use exactly with your serums, I will add a link in the description below that actually helps hydrate your skin, and it's pH compatible with a lot of anti-aging ingredients, so you can check that out. And if you would like to actually get a list of all the anti-aging ingredients that you should not mix together, then there'll be a link below where you can get that, and we will email that to you as well. And if you can go ahead and go to our comments and tell us what is your favorite anti-aging product or service and why. And we'll see you in the next video.